Guys, I'm finally watching the episode, and forgive me because I'm a little under the weather, but I'm going to be like really honest. You hoes need to take a chill pill. Like, I'm finally watching this like episode that's like, oh, so intense. Friends. It's not that deep. As somebody whose Instagram, not even Instagram, I'm talking like when you come into my house, my internet name is Bravo Babe. You're tripping. And I'm sorry, not sorry. You are tripping, friend. If you are watching this story and you are somebody who is tripping over the bathroom sex scene, I'm telling you, you're tripping. This is a great episode that is so full. Stop it. Guys, I'm fine.
You know what's so crazy? What has the world become? What has the world become? You know, listen. You know, I'm a 90s baby, you know, 1991. And, you know, I grew up in a generation, I guess the last breed, shall I say. I mean, listen, if anything, maybe my generation is the fault, was the beginning of what the world has become now. You know, because obviously in my teenage years, that's when they were really pushing for people to be a bit more free and for people to go out there and just be crazy, shall I say. But the fact is, though, I still grew up with morals, you know, of the fact that, you know, a man would behave in a certain type of way and a woman would respect herself in a type of way. But now we're living in a world and it's crazy because I actually would have technically been born in the 90s, I would imagine, or maybe even just before the 90s. I'm not too sure. Can't remember how old she is, but she's still part of that generation, right? So she would have been able to learn the fundamentals of how to respect yourself, all that kind of stuff as a woman, right? And it's just so crazy the world that we live in now. We live in a world now where there are some women in this world who happily come out, go on TV, and, you know, show a side of them that, you know, I guess traditionally a woman wouldn't, you know, unless, of course, she was getting paid for it in a different line of work, if you know what I mean, right? But it is crazy now to see that there are so many, you know, men and women in this world here, but I feel like maybe the pressure is a bit more on women, because women obviously are supposed to have, I guess, a certain level of respect for themselves, right? And it's just crazy that somebody can go on a TV show and not necessarily obviously show themselves in a way that is explicit per se, but to at least, you know, show scenes of them, you know, obviously doing the madness. And of course, this is something that we see all across the board on so many different reality TV shows. But this reality TV show has its own purpose. 90 Day Fiance is not something like Big Brother. It's not something like Love Island. Do you know what I mean? Or to be fair, even on Love is Blind or Married at First Sight, you actually don't even get this type of content, to be fair. And those ones are actually based on, you know, find the love. You know what I mean? It's usually the more ratchet TV shows that you will maybe experience these things. Damn, you wouldn't even be experiencing these things on shows like Love and Hip Hop, to be honest with you. But the matter of fact is, it is quite interesting that actually feels like it's okay. And I'm not saying that it's not okay, but it feels like it's okay for her to come out on social media and defend her actions of going through a situation where her and a man literally had a toxic argument, and her way of fixing it was for him to pretty much give it to her. You know, there's a fine line sometimes when, you know, if you watch something like a TV show like a Love Island or whatever, you know, and people go into the boom boom room and they do the madness and all them kind of things. Usually it's because, you know, they've had a good day and, you know what, they're just feeling it, so they obviously do their madness, right? So you can say that maybe there's a certain level of natural behavior behind it that is respectful, shall I say. But we're dealing with a woman that legit was in a heat argument with this man, the same heat argument that she's had multiple times, but each and every time they have one, her result is, oh, let's just go and have fun time. So much that we will even do, listen, she's so desperate to close down the conversation and her problems with him that she'll even make sure that when she does the madness, that the camera will even still be about. So therefore they can obviously, you know, record, I guess, the sound effects. You know what though? Let me contradict myself a little bit. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit by saying, forget everything that I said at the very, very beginning of the video. Let's just focus on the main thing here. The main thing is, it isn't about, the main thing is this. Ashley thinks it's okay to have an argument that is not a nice argument and then to resolve it without no resolution, but then to still give this man the slip. You know, there was a time before, if a man was to upset a woman She wasn't looking to she wasn't looking to have that hanky panky. It'd be completely dry down there because she's annoyed. Usually a man would have to do something nice, something loving, something caring for a woman to get those feelings and for her to be a bit more less dry and then in the mood, right? But it's weird that we now live in an era, in a generation where there's so many people who toxic energy makes them actually wet. And the funny thing about it is, yes, you may be enjoying the moment when you're doing it, but I've got a curious question. For anybody that's been in a toxic relationship, that's been in a situation where you have arguments and you end up resolving your arguments with a little bit of a toxic fun, I really want to know, throughout the process that you're having the fun, I can imagine you're probably enjoying the hell out of it. But you see, after the guy's done, okay, and after you're both done, how do you feel? Do you feel like you've now resolved everything? Do you feel like you feel better now? Or do you feel like, I just did it for that moment, just I feel good for that moment, but now it's done? Because there's a fine line. Again, I may never had toxic intimacy before, so I personally don't believe it personally, but all I know is this: if you have intimacy with somebody that you're with, somebody that's your fiancé, somebody you're meant to marry, right? Someone you're in love with. Generally speaking, intercourse with love involved, emotion involved, when you have it, it feels amazing. If anything, guy probably doesn't even last that long, right? But then the moment it's over, what do you normally want to do? You normally want to lay there, cuddle, and still stay in each other's energy and just feel great. If anything, you might even want to just fall asleep for a minute. And then after you've either maybe fallen asleep or after maybe you've laid there for a little bit, what usually happens? Usually you're like, damn, this person loves me. They want me. And then sometimes you might even end up having it again straight after, maybe 10 minutes, 30 minutes later. Give or take. Because the emotion is there, the feeling is there. But when it's toxic though, for as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a case of where you do this thing where it's over, and then after that, there's no cuddles, no kisses. It's literally, yeah, we've done it now. Let's get up and go about our day. And then maybe we'll come back later on and do it again if we're in the mood. Well, that's if we argue, if anything, right? So I do wonder though, the way the world has changed is so interesting to me. The way the value of some women is so interesting because, you know, for a man it's very different, isn't it? A man can get hard and do a madness no matter what, right? But for a woman, generally speaking, for her to lubricate down there, like, a man's got to make her feel a certain type of way. I do wonder, why does toxic energy make women now still be able to, Because let's be real, right? It's not enjoyable if the woman is dry. The friction is, right? Listen, this conversation may have been a bit too explicit for you guys, but if it is, then I guess you're on the wrong channel. But the matter of fact is, though, the point I'm making is that Ashley can go about her business and try to defend her actions on, say all this mumbo jumbo. But the thing is, though, she's promoting something that is unhealthy. She's promoting something that is not long lasting. She's promoting something that is just there for the spare moment. It'd be very different if there were just two people that were just having fun. Different conversation. But they're not. The two people are about to go into a marriage, and she's displaying that it's okay to go into a marriage, even if you've got so many problems, as long as you're able to still have your fun. If you're not able to have intimacy without actually feeling the real emotion behind it with somebody that you're with, then there is no point in you being with that person. You might as well be single and go out there and just have meaningless intimacy with so many other people instead. Or maybe one, whatever, it's up to you. But this right here, this is unhealthy. Extremely unhealthy. I hope she doesn't have children because, boy, I'd hate to know how she's going to parent them. But nonetheless, though, you guys let me know what you're thinking and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.